Death of a child. What happened? How could it be? In the midst of a miracle, this widow's child died. There was no breath left in him. This was beyond the pale. Death had not called ahead to warn her, so she who never cried, cried. It was too much for her. She had to wail or point a finger at somebody. We do not know what time of day it was. Elijah could have been awakened by screams at midnight. But in her anger, this poor widow cried the unprecedented. So Elijah prayed the unprecedented. This prophet who taught her of his God prayed. He said, "Give me your son." She was clutching the boy tightly, but she relented, relaxed her grip, and he took him from her. She then clutched the front of her worn robe in her hands, a sign, her sign, a physical sign that her worn emotions were crumbling inside. He carried her little boy, her only son, her only child, outside and up onto the roof of her house into his makeshift room. In the privacy of his upper room, Elijah prayed, "O Lord my God, let this child's life return to him." Breathtaking. To say the words is one thing, but to believe they might actually happen is another. Stretching yourself to lay on top of a lifeless body is not a calm, cool, collected act. It smacks of intimacy and emotion. Elijah stormed the gates of heaven, perhaps quietly, perhaps loudly, but he stormed them nonetheless. The widow, this mother, was a spectator of sorts. She was standing or sitting. Her head was bowed or raised to heaven. Her mind was buzzing with expectation or numb with pain, but her ears were straining from her room below to hear, listening, agonizing, hanging on the pleading of the prophet for mercy in the moment, pardon for our sins, strength to meet the need. There was trust inside her helplessness, the cry of a strong man in his utter weakness and absolute dependence on his God. This widow could neither read nor write. Perhaps the same was true for this man of God, this prayer warrior. But he was eloquent in prayer, and it was a privilege for her to join with him in his prayer. God heard. He answered in the affirmative for a thing outside anyone's experience. The life of the child returned to him, and he revived. Miracle of miracles. It takes your breath away. This child whose breath had been taken away got it back. Elijah left his upper room on the roof with the boy in his arms, not limp and on his back, but hugging the prophet with his little arms wrapped around the neck of this man of God. He carried him down the stairs, gave the boy back to his mother, and said, "See, your son is alive." And she believed. The narrative closes with these words of faith. "Now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord in your mouth is truth."